Hello students of class 10. Welcome back once again to your biology class. We have been continuing with the chapter of how do organisms reproduce. Today also we will continue with the same chapter. Today we will discuss first from the process of fertilization. In human beings, internal fertilization takes place. In the process of fertilization, what happens? The sperms which are made in the testes of a man, these are introduced into the vagina of the woman through the penis during the process of copulation. In copulation, what happens? The millions of sperms are introduced into the vagina at one time. The sperms, these are very highly active and mobile, which moves up through the cervix into the uterus and pass on to the fallopian tubes. One of the fallopian tube contains an ovum, which utilizes only one sperm for the process of fertilization to form a zygote. The millions of sperms are produced, but these millions of sperms does not get fertilized. Only one sperm will get fertilized to form a zygote. This is known as fertilization. Thus, the fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete to form a zygote during sexual reproduction is called fertilization. The fertilization of the ovum always takes place in the fallopian tube, and the fertilization can occur only when copulation, that is the release of the sperms, take place during the ovulatory period. Ovulatory period, I told you last day, during the menstrual cycle, and if the ovum gets fertilized by a sperm, then the woman is said to be pregnant. And when pregnancy begins, the process of menstruation completely stops. When the ovum is fertilized in the fallopian tube, the zygote is formed, which rapidly divides by mitosis and forms a hollow ball of hundreds of cells, which is known as embryo. The embryo, then what happens to it? It then sinks into the uterus and gets embedded in the wall of the uterus. The embedding of the embryo into the thick lining of the uterus is known as implantation. After the process of implantation, a special tissue develops between the walls of the uterus and the embryo, which is known as placenta. And the exchange of nutrients, oxygen, the waste products take place with the help of this placenta between the mother and the embryo, that is the fetus. The umbilical cord is there which joins the fetus to the placenta. And the time period between the fertilization and the birth of a baby is known as the gestation period. In a human beings, the average gestation period is about 280 days. During the gestation period, what happens? The fetus grows to become a baby. And the birth process begins when the strong muscles in the walls of the uterus contract. The contraction of the uterus pushes the baby out of the mother's body through the vagina. Okay, and this process of birth is known as parturition, and the average weight of the newborn baby is about 3.5 kilograms, which may vary from one person to another. Now we will know about the population control. The population of our country is increasing rapidly day by day, and our country has sufficient food resources. Still, it is very difficult to provide sufficient food, adequate clothing, good housing and proper education to all the communities of the people. Right? So, population should be controlled. To control the population growth, the government has formed a national population policy to fix the marriageable age for females at 18 years and from males it is 21 years. Right? And the population policy is intended to decrease the birth rate or the growth rate of the country. And for population control, it is very important for the couples who are in the reproductive stage of their lives to adopt the family planning method. Family planning enables a couple to decide on the number of the children they want to have. And by adopting family planning, a couple can have less number of children so that they can be provided with good food, good clothes and good education. Okay, so it should be noted that having fewer children does not affect the reproductive health of the mother. Women's reproductive health and family planning method, you have to know about that. The reproductive health means the ability of the woman to reproduce and regulate her fertility. Women should be able to go through the pregnancy and the childbirth safely. Safe motherhood includes avoidance of sexually transmitted diseases and reproductive tract infections also. Sexually transmitted diseases, in short we say as STD, and reproductive tract infection, in short we say as RTI. And frequent pregnancies in many cases damage the health of the woman or even endanger the life of the mother. Okay, so death rate due to pregnancy is about 10 to 20 times greater in developing countries than in developed countries. So family planning methods are there. The birth control can be achieved by preventing the pregnancy in females. The prevention of pregnancy in women by preventing the process of fertilization is known as contraception. Okay, and any device or chemical which prevents pregnancy in women is known as contraceptive. Now, what are the contraceptive methods or birth control for family planning methods? Contraceptive methods are the preventive methods basically which help the woman to avoid the unwanted pregnancies. There are 4 types of contraceptive methods we will discuss. First, we will know about the barrier method. Barrier method is used to prevent the live sperm from meeting the ovum. And for this barrier method, various instruments are used for this purpose. Basically, the stoppage of meeting the sperm and the ovum should be done. So, first one can be used condom. The condoms, these are very common mechanical contraceptive. The male condom covers the penis and avoids the semen from going into the vagina. And there are also the female condoms which covers the external genitalia and the walls of the vagina. It also protects both males and females from sexually transmitted diseases. Next are the chemicals. Certain chemicals, when applied, they kill the motility or life of the sperms in the vagina. Okay, diaphragm is there. It is often used with the jelly cream, jelly or type of cream, and it physically prevents the sperms from entering the uterus and kills any that comes in contact with the spermicide. Apart from that, cervical caps are there. The cervical cap is like a diaphragm, except that it is very smaller. It is shaped like a thimble cap and it is used to protect the end of the finger when swimming. So this type of it fits smooth over the cervix. Next method is the hormonal method. Combination of female hormones can be used to prevent pregnancy. It includes the oral contraceptive pills. Oral contraceptive, better known as the birth control pills, we say in short. It refers to either a combination of synthetic estrogen, progesterone or progestin. A combination. This is progesterone. This is also known as progestin when made synthetically. You should know it. And combined oral contraceptive, those which contain both the estrogen and the progestin, prevent pregnancy by inhibiting the process of ovulation. Okay, and combination pill types as well as progestin discourage the sperms from entering the uterus by making cervical mucus very thick, and they also make it difficult for the fertilized egg to implant by causing the changes in the fallopian tubes and the uterine lining also. Next is intrauterine devices or IUDs in short we say. The introduction of a foreign body into the uterus is not new. Arabians used this device in the camels first to control conception. Small round stones were introduced into the uterus before going for a long journey. Otaring was introduced in Japan in 1934 and that is still in use there. Modern IUDs are made up of plastic, example Lippes loop. And IUDs are of 2 types, one is non-medicated and other is the medicated. Both of these are made of polyethylene. The medicated IUDs, in addition, they release the copper ions or progestin hormones, and their side effects are very minimum. Next process is the surgical method. Surgical methods of birth control. These are available for both males and females. The male sterilization or vasectomy, we say. It's a very simple operation. A piece of vas deferens of about 1 centimeter after clamping is removed, and the ends are ligated or tied up and folded back on themselves and sutured into the position. And both the sutured ends, it should be away from each other. After vasectomy, the sperm production and the hormone output are not at all affected. The sperm produced are destroyed by the phagocytosis method, and it is a very safe and convenient contraceptive method for the males. And in case of female sterilization, the term given is tubectomy. It is done in the postpartum. Postpartum means basically after the childbirth or at the third time of abortion. Not third time, sorry, at the time of abortion also. And fallopian rings or clips are applied to occlude the fallopian tubes. So here in this process, what happens? The vas deferens is tied, and these are cut at both the ends and ligated. Both ends are ligated together. Here also the normal sexual behavior and the characteristics and the hormone secretion all becomes normal. Okay, basically after 1 or 2 childbirths, the female prefer it so that they don't conceive again. Next, sexually transmitted diseases, or we say as STD. Sexually transmitted diseases, these are a group of communicable diseases, and these are transmitted by sexual contact and cause a wide range of bacterial, viral, protozoan and fungal agents and ectoparasites. These diseases can be categorized into 2 forms. One, those are curable, and second is those are non-curable. Curable means syphilis, gonorrhea, these are sexually transmitted diseases. While having sex, it can be transmitted from the male to the female partner or vice versa. And another STDs are there which are non-curable, which are not curable, like AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. And it should be remembered that a curable disease may also sometimes be very serious. And the consequence of many STDs can be very serious indeed, like infertility, sterility, pelvic inflammatory disease, inflammation of the prostate gland and epididymis, and neurological and cardiovascular problems. These are some of the complications of untreated sexually transmitted diseases. AIDS, it is a chronic life-threatening disorder which damages the human body's immune system. And it is also a sexually transmitted disease which is caused by human immunodeficiency virus. The causative organism is human immunodeficiency virus, and it damages the body's immune system so that the body cannot protect itself against any minor infection also. Now, what are the symptoms of AIDS? I think you all know the early symptoms: weight loss, fever, diarrhea, and in severe conditions the patient may sometimes develop pneumonia also. Skin cancer may take place, and the AIDS is transmitted, how it is transmitted: by blood transfusion, by hypodermic needle used by the drug addict, the homo or heterosexual intercourse. By this way the AIDS can be transmitted, and no definite cure has been found for AIDS disease till date. Avoid drug abuse and intercourse with affected person. Now, what are the prevention and control of sexually transmitted diseases? The sexually transmitted diseases can be controlled by reduction of average rate of sexual exposure through change of behavior among susceptible infected patients. Promotion of safer sexual practices by use of condoms during intercourse, and early detection and curative or suppressive treatment of the patients and their sexual partners is most effective in controlling sexually transmitted diseases. So this is all about the chapter of how do organisms reproduce. Read properly in your home. We have completed this chapter. Thank you.